Well, hello folks, welcome to another video. So so this will be of course after this is a Sunday video, and it is after Trump did his Saturday rally speech. Supposedly it was supposed to be for the Dave Perdue and that Shelley Loeffler, but in my opinion that was more of a rally for Trump. And yeah, he got a lot of stuff off I would say he got a lot of stuff off of his chest, and a lot of normies were probably red pilled. So yes, and of course the news, that young man, part of Kelly Loeffler's campaign with his car crash, a three-car crash, his car exploded, caught fire, and the thing is that modern cars are designed to where the gas tanks don't catch fire, and if it does catch fire, they don't explode. Mythbusters actually busted that myth that the Hollywood. Hollywood, in any Hollywood movie, a car crash, it explodes. Well, of course, they actually, I believe the episode of Mythbusters, they actually set a car on fire, and no, it did not blow up. They even actually set, I believe they even set the gas tank on fire, and it didn't blow up, because the way modern gas tanks are designed, they're designed not to blow up. Unless, because gas tanks have two shells. There's an outer hard shell, and then there's an inner soft plastic shell that collapses with the, of course, with fuel being spent. And so I'm gonna go with MythBusters. If now I don't know if they said if they said busted or they're plausible. The plausible would be if a drone strike. Those people saying, yeah, that was a drone strike. Somebody got lit up by a drone. So unless we don't know what kind of car he was driving. If it was a 1978 Ford Pinto, yeah, those if you got rear-ended, if the gas tank was pierced, it would explode or catch fire, and then it would explode. But again, with modern cars, the in a lot of car crashes, the fire would start mainly in the engine bay, and then the fire would slowly build, and the person, if they're not knocked out, would have a chance to escape the car. But in this case, it was like crash explosion Hollywood style, and people are like gas tank. No, gas tanks in modern cars really, they're designed not to explode. I'm saying that it couldn't happen, but they're designed not to explode. And yes, I guess I'll touch upon this Biden falling down thing one more time. So it came out from his camp. This is from the Biden camp that he actually got out of the shower, dripping wet and naked, and chasing the dog. I'm like, you guys should have just stuck with, he was playing with the dog in the yard, fell down. That sounds more reasonable than a 78-year-old man coming out of the shower, dripping wet, naked, and chasing the dog around the house. That's something your 3-year-old kid would do. That sounds like something a little toddler would do. You get your little toddler out of the tub, and you're trying to wipe them down. They take off running as soon as you turn around to go grab a towel. They take off running. If you got a dog in the house, the dog will be chasing them, or they'll be chasing the dog. That's the first thing that came to my mind. So yeah, I still believe that he had a stroke, fell down, broke his ankle, smashed his face. And of course his Facebook post, his Thanksgiving Facebook live stream was a week later, only has 14,000 views. Come on, Democrats, come on, Kool-Aid Brigade, get on there and watch that Biden Thanksgiving speech. 80 million of you guys supported that man, right? I suppose 80 million of you voted for the guy, and you can't get but 14,000 of you guys to go view his video for his Thanksgiving video. And of course, Congress summoned Obama's, ex-AG, I forgot her first name, but her name, I guess it's Lynn. It was ex-Attorney General Lynn. It is a black woman. And of course, they summoned her to testify on the Obama administration's giving Iran billions. 1.8 billion dollar in cash, and they were to pay Iran 180 billion dollar over I think it was a 3 or 4 year period. Luckily, Trump got rid of that payment. She pleaded the fifth, and normally when you plead the fifth, that's a good sign of I don't want to incriminate myself, or I don't want to incriminate people who could actually kill me. So I was like, interesting. So they are. So Congress is at least checking up on the Iran thing. So there's also news that the Ayatollah of Iran is dead. So I'm thinking, okay, so maybe Trump took out the Iranian head nuclear scientist, and then took out the Ayatollah. I wouldn't put it past Trump, man. I wouldn't blame him, man. Well, they're saying Israel took out that scientist, and who knows, Israel could have took out the Ayatollah too. Let's see here. And of course, I'll cover the speech was like an hour. It was like an hour and 46 minutes. So it was almost 2 hours. And believe me, Biden couldn't stand up there and do an hour and 45-minute speech. He would be, they'd have to drag him off this. They'll have to bring in the gurney, and literally, get him off the stage after he collapses, 20, 30 minutes into the speech. But yeah, I mean, there was a long speech. It was an hour and 46 minutes, and like I said, a lot of things were covered. He showed 2 videos, and at this point, I have no confidence. Again, I'll reiterate, I have no confidence in the Republicans in these contested states. They're all rhinos. There are some true Republicans, but the rest of them, probably about 20-30% of them are true Republicans, and 70% are rhinos. Because the problem with these rhinos is that yeah, you may have these 20-30% Republicans saying, hey, we need to convene state legislature and send our own electors. But if you only got 20-30% of the guys saying rah rah, let's do it, it ain't gonna happen when the other 70% aren't supporting you. Let's see here. Yeah, so I have no confidence of anything happening at the state side in Georgia, Michigan, definitely Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin. We keep hearing news after news, more evidence coming out. I think it was in Nevada where they got a hold of one of the Smartmatic machine, and they ran some tests on it where they gave the same number of votes to Trump and Biden, and then when the computer tabulated, it came out with 26. It came out with 26% more for Biden. So these machines. The thing is, these machines may have their data wiped, but the algorithm is still there. So you can do tests. You can do test data. That's what they did, and they're like, well, okay, that explains it. And so it's probably gonna be the same. It might even be the same here in Texas, because the voting system that I use here in Tarrant County, and Dallas County used it too. It looked exactly the same as the Dominion system. The screen, the little printer thing that you feed your paper, and all of that. And then the ballot, it pulls in your ballot, prints out your. I did check when I did check, make sure that my name was correct, but I didn't check to see that if my selection. But the thing is, of course, if they got the algorithm programmed to like, hey, for every Trump vote, give him, 0.9, and then for every Biden vote, give him, 1.1. And of course, you can check your ballot after the printer pulls it in, prints it out, and after that, I walked over to another machine, which is a scanner, and I scanned and I fed it into this. I'm assuming it's a scanner. I fed it into this machine afterwards, after it printed out my ballot from my polling station. That was that, and I walked over to this machine, and there was a man there, with a big smile on his face, and I fed it into the machine. I assume it was a scanner where it scanned the ballot and then tabulated it, so let's see here. Yeah, so we're going to have to. Yeah, speaking of the Supreme Court, so we're going to have to depend on the Supreme Court. So on December 1st, Team Trump filed. They got their Pennsylvania case to the Supreme Court, and the last 2 days, Team Trump have been in closed door hearings at the Supreme Court. And of course, the Supreme Court's reasoning they gave was because of COVID. That's why they're not allowing the public to go to. Yeah, because you can actually go to any courthouse unless the court's got the door closed and they specifically said, hey, this is closed to the public because of national. I'm thinking it's probably some national security, or there might be a threat to the public because the person is super insane. He might try to kill somebody there. I don't. But I'm thinking the stuff that they're going over is probably has some national security related item, and the Supreme Court is using COVID-19 as a excuse to get to keep the public's eye from prying. But yeah, you can pretty much go to any courthouse in the United States, any court. Of course, before the court's in session, I think you can also go in while the court's in session also. And you can pretty much sit in on any court cases, and attorneys, defense attorney, prosecutors, they recommend, hey, go and sit in on some criminal cases, civil cases, just to see how the court system and things like that, work. And yeah, you can go to any court and go sit in the public area of the in any courtroom, and just kind of listen to what's going on. If just don't get too heated, because I have a feeling if the public were allowed to get in there, some people may get heated, and get thrown out, or get what you call that? What is that? Charged with disorderly conduct, get things like that. So that might, I'm thinking that might be a reason too. Because I know if you're a pro-Trump person, you're in there and you're hearing all of these, because as Rudy Giuliani says, what we're seeing at these hearings, at these state legislator hearings, is only 10% of the evidence that they got, and what they will be presenting to the court is way more in depth. Yeah, so they are already talking to the Supreme Court, and of course Rudy Giuliani. Speaking of Rudy, was tested positive for COVID, and of course leftists are cheering. They're out cheering in the street. They're booty clapping, and again, look up booty clapping at your own discretion. Don't be surprised if Pornhub, if you get a lot of Pornhub hits on booty clapping. Yeah, so they're out in the street celebrating and booty clapping that Rudy Giuliani came down with COVID. He'll be fine. You got 99.99% survival. Yes, he is an elder. He's 76 years old, so he does fall into the elder citizen category. He will be given the same treatment that Trump was given. The Regeneron, given massive doses of vitamin C and D. Given hydroxychloroquine with one of the Demerol, or I forgot what it's called, one of the antivirals, and Rudy Giuliani will be fine. And the thing about the test is that Texas needs to follow Florida. I'm telling you, come on, Governor Abbott, take, look at Florida and follow Florida. Governor DeSantis in Florida has lifted the mask mandate, so if you live in Florida, you don't have to worry about wearing a mask. Also, the Florida legislators passed a legislation to where companies who does COVID testing have to show the PCR count, which is so basically the test right now for COVID is called the PCR test, and it was invented in 1993 by some professor in Berkeley, and basically what that test does is that it takes a virus or any virus, because at this point the question is, is it the coronavirus, or is it the regular flu virus that these tests are triggering? So basically what the test does is that it amplifies the genetic material of the virus. So basically, they take your nose swab, they send it to a lab. The lab technician will run it one time and amplify it one time, amplify it 2 times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically the thing is that the higher it goes, the greater chance of a false positive will trigger. And from what I read, the false trigger is pretty much anything after 20. So if they amplify past 20, so they get to like 30, they get to like 40, amplification, and then a very, very, very small signature of a virus comes up, and it's, oh, okay, well he's so you tested positive for coronavirus after we amplified it 40 times. It's like, well, that 40 times is in the range of the false positive. And that's why Florida, the legislator, was passing the legislation saying, hey, if you take a PCR test, the laboratory that does the PCR test must give the PCR count. So how many, right? Basically, PCR counts how many times they amplified the virus genetic material. Of course, they use chemicals to amplify it, and I don't know the exact chemicals that they're using, but just think of it as building amplifying. Just think of it as like amplifying. You got a picture, and on this picture there's a single cell on a picture, and you're amplifying that single cell up. Anyways, I guess that's probably not a good example. But basically, what you're doing is you keep copying the genetic material of supposedly if there is a virus that's in your nose swab, and that the thinking is that eventually there'll be enough genetic material that will show up in the test. But the problem with this test again is that if you amplify it too much, you can get a false positive. And so the question's got to be, what is the PCR count for Rudy Giuliani's test? And the thing is that if he gets, and I'm pretty sure he's getting tested every day, especially while he's in a hospital, they're probably testing him every day. And if I was Rudy Giuliani, I'd be like, hey man, you need to give me the PCR test, the PCR count. And just like the people that I've known that went to get retested, is that they're coming out with positive, negative, positive, negative, 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 positive, and so the PCR test is not, and a lot of scientists and doctors are coming out against it. They're like, hey, this PCR test is not accurate. It's not accurate at all and should not even be used. And of course, with coronavirus, with 99.99 or 99.93 or 99.97, because it's a 0.03% chance of death, so you got a 99.93% chance of surviving. What you want, doggy? So so to all these people, there was some guy doing a TikTok video where he went to the Trump rally just to pester the people. I don't know if I don't think so. But pretty much all of the folks who went to the Trump rally, a lot of them were unmasked, which I'm fine with. So some guy they're trying to get TikTok counts, so he sees people without masks, and he's telling them, hey man, put your mask on. Hey, here's a mask. Would you please put this mask on? It's like, look, dude, man, it's 99.93% chance of survival for people who are 50 and under. People who are 50 to about 70 have about an 85% chance of survival. People above 70, of course, it goes down, way down. But of course, if you're Rudy Giuliani, I guess you get put on the special list. And yes, and he can video conference into the Supreme Court. So it's not like, you know, Rudy Giuliani is not physically there. Hurrah, hurrah! You know, the leftists. Well, the thing is, he can video conference in, especially with this coronavirus. And the Supreme Court will make a, you know, will make a special, you know, to a special situation where, you know, he can do that. And of course they do that for, you know, witness protection too. Witnesses who don't want to be physically there, you know, for fear of their life, they can, you know, video in. Let's see here. So and yeah, and I guess I'll close it on this. The 60, the what's her name, AOC, you know, with her yeah. So she has a tax the rich shirt. It's a sweater, tax the rich, and this is a sweater that's $58. So, and it is sold out, by the way. Yeah, so I guess there's that many smooth-brained liberals who purchased her tax the rich sweater, you know, making AOC richer. But of course, with shipping and tax, you know, it from 58 it comes up to like $70 with tax and shipping. So I find it kind of funny, and of course, in true capitalist pig form, you know, the shirt is polyester, which is like the cheapest material that you can use. You know, she should have made it 100% cashmere. You know, if she truly wanted to tax the rich and show how she's down with the little people, you know, she should have. One, if it's going to be made from polyester, that sweater shouldn't cost more than $19.99. You know, with you know, being made by Little Juan in Peru, or Little Juan in a sweatshop in Honduras somewhere. You know, or made in Peru by Little Juanita in a sweatshop. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, yes, the hypocrisy of the left keeps giving. See here. Yes, and of course, I guess a little more notes. I wrote down my notes. The Rhinos in the Senate, because I think this bill made it to the Senate. So basically, we're like, you know, we're complaining about rhinos, and the rhinos not doing anything to help out the Trump and the GOPs, or a bunch of cucks. So what did these knuckleheads do? Of course, I hope Trump vetoes both of these. So basically, there's two bills. One bill, of course. Of course, people, I'm on that just get rid of Section 230, and then you got some people like, oh, let's amend it. You know, it's better to amend it, to just completely remove it. I'm on the let's remove it. Because again, there's Section 230. You know, you can come up with another, you know, make it a, you know, section, you know, make it Section 235, and I'll give it a just make a new law that's updated. I know you can try to amend Section 230 to get it updated to 2020 because, you know, Section 230 came out when it's 1997, and it was meant to protect, you know, a big telephone companies like AT&T, Southwestern Bell, all the Ma and Pa Bells that of course that sprouted up after after AT&T, and I think Southwestern Bell got split up for antitrust. All of these Bell companies sprouted back up during the 90s. And of course, Section 230 was put in to protect them, you know, for people, you know. But yeah, I'm like, let's go ahead and remove. But of course, these guys, instead of amending it to where it, you know, weakens big tech, they actually the amend that they're trying to do for Section 230 is actually strengthening big tech. So they're going the opposite. And of course, they voted to reinstate the HB1 visa. The thing is, a lot of these guys who are coming from India on these HB1 visas, or no, they're taking our tech jobs, and they're taking our IT jobs, our tech jobs, and our engineering jobs. You know, these guys aren't coming here to take burger flipping jobs. They're not coming here to take the toilet, you know, the janitor's job to scrub the toilet. They're here to take, you know, the middle class blue collar, you know, engineering, IT, and tech jobs. And yes, and there are plenty of engineers, guys in IT and guys in tech who are out of work right now. Because the problem is a lot of the support centers, call centers, or they're closed because of COVID. They've had to send all of their employees home, to work from home. Like this desk behind me. So those who were lucky and didn't get laid off, because if you have a support center or a call center that's got like 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 people, and you're suddenly sending all of these people home, of course you don't have the overhead of this big ass warehouse or this big ass center that you got to pay monthly rent on, and all of the equipment and gear inside. But the problem is, of course, is keeping track of all the people at home. Because companies love to micromanage, and it's hard to micromanage someone who's remote at home. You can't put a camera in to watch them. That's of course invasion of privacy. Your First Amendment, or is that the Fourth Amendment? Of course, while you're home, they can still micromanage you. Yeah, so of course the Rhinos are at it again. Of course, for them, it's the cheap labor. It's like kind of like the what's that Obamacare website. It costs like $1 billion to get that website up and running, and it's still a piece of crap website. So basically, from what I read, they hired some company. It's like a startup company. Of course, this is probably buddy. Hey, I got this buddy who, I'm going to give some. I'm going to give this big multi-million-dollar contract to. So basically, it was a startup company, and all of the people that they hired, because they wanted to pay these people cheap, were people straight out of college. I don't even know if they had computer experience or any kind of computer degree. They just hired all these people straight out of college with no experience into their company, and now these people are tasked with creating the Obamacare website, and and these companies were charging like $300 an hour, and of course the kid that's straight out of college, he's getting, he's probably getting paid $15-20 an hour, straight out of college, but that $300 an hour, most of that goes to the company. And of course, they had guys on there whose primary job was to change the color on a font, things like that. It's like, all right, your job is any T's that aren't eggshell white color, you need to change it to eggshell white. So I need you to go through all these documents and change the T font to eggshell white. And yeah, something that basically, and yes, and I can vouch for that. They're on the programming team, on the development team. Yeah, sometimes they will have some goober whose main job is to just check one little thing, and sometimes it is just a font, and that's their job. They're getting paid $30-40 bucks an hour just to do that. Yeah, so that's why the Obamacare website, cost $1 billion, because you had all of these companies that were just, trying to cut corners so that they make the most money, hiring people who had no idea what they're doing, having to scrap and redo things, 100 times over, and okay, well that's let's see here, and oh yeah, all of you libs. Congress did pass the stimulus, the $1 billion stimulus. Unfortunately, that $1 billion aid package does not include any stimulus for the average American. I have no idea where that money is going to go. If it's going to go to the corporates, small businesses, or if it's going to go straight into the pockets of the congressmen. Probably a big chunk of it's going to go straight into the pockets of the congressmen. And yeah, that $1 billion coming out of our pocket, the taxpayer, and it doesn't include any stimulus for the taxpayers. And I don't know if it's going to pass the Senate. Hopefully Trump vetoes that too. And of course, I guess I'll close up on, let's see here, campaign, yes, campaign financing. You know, reading on the forum of people are like, hey man, campaign financing, it's pretty much a loan. So here you are, you know, you're running for Congress, you're running for Senate, and you know you're basically taking out a $5 million, $10 million loan, because you're gonna have to pay this back. These people who are giving you these finance contribution, especially the fat cats, they're gonna come knocking, you know, and they're gonna come asking for that loan, you know, for you to pay up on that loan. And by pay, you know, we're talking like, you know, signing bills and stuff that will support them and their ideology, or support them in their endeavor. So yeah, so that campaign contribution is not free. And of course, you know, Biden, he got almost $700 million. And of course, you know, when you know, every month, you know, they would be clapping. Oh look, man, Biden got more, you know, campaign contribution than Trump. You know that, you know, and of course Trump mentions like, hey, you know, and of course Trump knows it. And he's a businessman, and I'm pretty sure he contributed to a lot of these politicians' campaign fund before he ran for president. And he mentioned, hey, you know, when these guys in Wall Street, when these big corporate fat cats are donating to your campaign, you know, they're going to want something back in return. So it's not free. And I like how the person noted that, you know, it's actually a loan that you're getting. You know, who takes out a $5 million loan to get a job that pays $170,000? You know, that would be like you going, well, I guess college tuition, but anyways, yeah, that would be like you know, going out and getting, you know, $50,000, or actually you know, getting into debt, you know, for $500,000, you know, to get a job that pays, you know, $50,000 a year. That might be a bad example, but all right. Well, anyway, that's it. So hopefully we hear something next week. Because next week, you know, they keep mentioning the 8th, and let me see. The 8th is on. That's actually the 8th is actually Tuesday. So Democrats, liberals keep, you know, hounding on this. Oh, the 8th is safe harbor. The 8th of December is safe harbor. So basically, the 8th of December is just the date that is set to where all the states must have their electors certified. That's all that it means. That all the states, all 50 states, have to have their electors certified, and that's it. That's what safe harbor is. It's nothing more than you got to have your electors certified. And let's not forget that back in 2000 with Bush versus Gore, on the 7th of December is when the Supreme Court made their decision and gave the electors to Bush. And of course Gore conceded, and I think a few days later he rescinded he rescinded, because I guess his people are like, hey man, you know, we still got, you know, of course they tried going to, I remember they you know, tried going to court, tried going to the legislator, and they exhausted all of their options. And then on December 13th is when Gore, you know, conceded the second time, I guess for the final time. And yeah, and of course December the 14th is a hard date. It's in the Constitution, so we really can't change it. But the thing is that come December 14th, if there's any states that are that has litigations in the courts, then those states, their electors are held up. They can't be counted. They can't be counted towards either of the candidates. And right now we got you know, you got Nevada. I don't know about Arizona. You got Nevada. You know, you got Wisconsin. You got Michigan. You got Pennsylvania. You got Georgia. That's all got litigation in the courts right now on the election. So right there, those 5 states, the electors cannot be counted for neither Trump or Biden until the courts finish with their cases. So yeah, so again, of course, the team Trump with Rudy Giuliani and Gina Ellis, they got 3 cases, I think 3, because I remember watching the Georgia hearing. Rudy Giuliani said it again. We got 3 cases. We got 3 cases that are that they filed. So I have a feeling what's going to happen is that the Supreme Court is probably, and I'm pretty sure that now that they've gotten to the Supreme Court, that and of course out of Rudy Giuliani and Gina Ellis, Gina Ellis seems to be the one who's more on the constitutional attorney, where that's her specialty. But to me, Rudy Giuliani is like the old crafty. He's like the old crafty lawyer. Let's see here. And I have a feeling they will probably bunch up the 3 cases that they have into one now that's made it to the Supreme Court. And I have a feeling what's going to happen is that the Supreme Court is probably going to kick out the electors for Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. So that will give neither Biden nor Trump the 270. So even if come Tuesday, or is it? Tuesday will be the 8th. Yeah, because today is today's Sunday the 6th, and Monday will be 7. Yeah, so it'll be 2. So come Tuesday, you got the safe harbor, which means nothing. And then you got December 14th. But I have a feeling who knows, the decision from the Supreme Court might come tomorrow. Because I have a feeling it's either going to come tomorrow or it's going to come Tuesday. I got my throat. Let's get some water here. Yeah, I got water at my desk. And that I have a feeling they're going to kick out the electors for Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia, giving none of it to either of the candidates. Which, if that's the case, then of course, come December 14th, if the decision comes tomorrow or Tuesday or sometime next week, then that means that December 14th really means nothing. Because if neither Trump or Biden has 270, December 14th will mean nothing. But of course, the electors from the other states will still convene at the Capitol building and give their electors, of course, none of just for procedures purpose. Then after that, we gotta wait till January 6th, where the new Congress and the new Senate convenes. Of course, January 3rd. Actually, January 3rd is when the new Congress I'm talking Congress. January 3rd is when the new Congress convenes. So basically, you have the new House members get sworn in. The new Senate members get sworn in, unless you got a special runoff like in Georgia, which would be on January the 5th. and then come January 6th is when Congress actually will do the electoral votes, where it's 1 vote per state. So each state at that point sends their 1 delegate, and they will vote either for Trump or for Biden. And from what all of the political professionals are saying is that it should easily be, you need 26 to win. It should easily be 27 to 23. Of course, like I said, there's 31 states that's Republican legislator, and 19 that's Democrat. But as I said, a few of those states are probably going to switch. I'm probably going to vote for Biden. We're talking, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia. Yeah. So you're looking at so the political professionals are thinking that about 3 to 4 of the Rhino legislator states will probably vote for Biden. So they're saying 27-23 will probably be the final tally, giving Trump the win by just, well, he needs 26, so he'll win by 2 points basically. The other situation is that if the Supreme Court, somehow rules against Trump and says no, you guys are crazy, throws the case out, and of course, come December the 14th, the electors give their I guess electoral points to Biden. Then again, come December 6th, December 3rd, when the new Congress convene, you get sworn in. Come December 6th, again when Congress actually verifies the electoral, the last stopgap is that it only takes one senator and one House member to challenge the electoral of any state. In this case, I can guarantee you, Rand Paul, maybe Ted Cruz, from the Republican Senate would definitely challenge Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. And of course in the House, what's his name is the House. See here, the House member from Alabama. He already came out. Was it Mo? Is his name Mob or Mo? Well, he's not one of my one of my state representative. But he already came out and said, hey, I will challenge, the Georgia. He said I will challenge Georgia and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and all of these states that are in that are what you call that, all of these contested states. There you go. Was Mo something? Was his name Mob? I damn forget his name. But we need more. I'm thinking. What's his name from Ohio? Jim Jordan. A lot of people saying, yeah, man, Jim Jordan should step up and be and also, challenge these electors. And it would be nice if we have at least 2 or 3 or 4 senator or 2 or 3 or 4 House members challenge each of these Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Georgia. If it gets to that point, if it gets to January 6th. And of course, Vice President, the Silver Fox, Vice President Pence, actually presides over Congress during these proceedings. So I think if there's like after the challenge, they have a 2-hour meeting in the Senate and another 2-hour meeting in the House. Then after that, they have a vote. In the House, even though Democrats own the House, Republicans actually have enough seats to I forgot how many numbers is needed, but from what I've read, Republicans got enough, assuming a bunch of rhinos don't flip, but there are enough seats in the House for Republicans to actually vote and get it through. Same for the Senate, of course. The Republicans should retain the Senate and have enough vote in the Senate to get it through in the Senate. If there's a tie so if there's a tie or they can't make up their mind, then it goes to the Vice President and he makes the final decision. So it might come down to Vice President Pence. And yes, he does have the balls to call it. So if the Senate can't make up their mind, House can't make up their mind, Vice President Pence he's got to make the final call. He's got the cojones. The Silver Fox has got the balls to go. Yeah, okay, I call Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Wisconsin for President Trump, and or don't know if the challenge. Yeah, so so that would be like the last stopgap. The thing about this procedure is that it's been tried. I believe it's been tried in the past, but it's never been successful. So I'm like, okay, I hope it doesn't come to this January 6th thing to where we have to depend on the Senate and the House to challenge these states, and then they do all of this 2-hour hearing and then try to vote on it, and then have the vice president, if he has to, make the final decision. Again, it's never I believe it's been tried, but it's never been successful. So hopefully come Monday or Tuesday, sometime next week, we get a it should be a 9-0 from the Supreme Court, because basically what Team Trump is trying to do is they're not going to go in there with all of this, hey, we got this video of these ladies in Georgia. Hey, we got this video of these guys in Michigan that's pulling up in the truck. The point that Team Trump is going to try to prove is the Melon ballots is unconstitutional based on equal protection of the law. It's the unconstitutionality of Melon ballots based on equal protection of the law, and that is of course a constitutional. I guess a constitutional path. Of course, you're going to the Supreme Court, so you better bring something that's constitutional. So yes, equal protection under the law. So basically, what they're trying to say is that mail-in ballot is unconstitutional, because the people who walk up to vote are not getting the same constitutional protection as the people who are mailing in their ballots, because one, you don't know whose ballot that is. The grandkid could have filled it out for grandma and then mailed it, and based on that, it should be a 9-0, but of course more likely it's going to be a 5-0. It's going to be a 5-0 for Trump, and what they'll probably do is throw out the electorals again for Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. They might even do it for Wisconsin if Team Trump has a lawsuit in Wisconsin. So we'll see, but that's my prediction. It's going to be a 5-4 for Trump. The electorals for those three states that I mentioned will be thrown out, giving nobody 270. And then of course all hell is going to break loose, because at that point Trump pretty much won. And of course, if it comes out to where the Supreme Court says, hey, we're going to give the electorals, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia, to Trump, giving Trump the victory, the thing is that Biden's not going to concede. He's already been told by his handlers not to concede. So yeah, so we're going to see what the if that's the case, we'll see what the Team Biden people do, because Biden's not going to concede. He's going to be just as steady, fast, steady as Trump, because Trump's like, I ain't conceding. You crazy? And Biden's going to be the same. He's like, I'm not conceding. You crazy? We're taking this back to the courts. So that's what's going to happen. I just hope that of course, Antifa and the burn, loot, murder people, BLM, they're at each other's throat. And of course, BLM has internal fighting too, because a lot of the supposed BLM chapters are complaining to BLM that, hey man, where is our share of the money? Because a lot of the supposed official BLM chapters aren't getting any funding from BLM. You got $6 billion. They're like, yeah, you got $6 billion, man. Give us some of that money. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I'll probably, if something comes up like the Supreme Court decision, gets dropped, and it's probably gonna be for Trump, and of course the Kool-Aid Brigade goes crazy, starts looting and rioting, be ready for Trump to call in the military, because he's not going to wait for the governors to ask for the National Guard. He's going to bring in the military this time, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting next week. Well, thank you.